Death, one of the most dismaying yet an integral part of our lives. But there are people who dedicate their lives to ensure the welfare of those who are long gone. To them, attending to the dead is simply all in a day's work. So what possibly motivates them to pursue such an extraordinary and somewhat morbid career? Passion? Or something much more complicated? Something which the eyes of an outsider can never behold or comprehend. Yio Chu Kang Road. Tucked in the midst of residential estates, there is an exquisite park, saturated with fresh air and tranquility. But it's not quite like any other parks. Buried 6 feet underneath are 10,000 bodies of Japanese prostitutes, civilians, and soldiers. Standing tall above the ground are 910 tombstones, lined up harmoniously to memorialize the deceased. Many of these are crafted with elaborate and intricate designs, and it's hard to believe that they have been around for 100 years.
The Japanese cemetery history goes all the way back to the end of 19th century. The Boothero owner, Mr. Futagi, donated his rubber plantation for use of the burial ground for the young Japanese lady who was a prostitute.
These Japanese prostitutes are known as the Karayuki-san, which translates to going overseas. Many of them were peasant girls sold to the flesh trade in colonial Singapore. The cemetery, roughly the size of a soccer field, still remains as the largest of its kind in Southeast Asia today.
We formed the Mutual Aid Association. This association looking after the Japanese poor people and also the maintenance of the Japanese cemetery.
A majority of the group was made up of the Karayuki-san themselves. On foreign soil with no families or relatives, they voluntarily tended the graves of their deceased colleagues in the hope that someone would do the same for them after their deaths.
Well, the Japanese association established in 1915.
Under its management, Wen Ya-chang was appointed as one of the first official tomb keepers in the 1930s. Ironically, the tomb keeper did not originate from Japan.
这个唐山过来新加坡，过来也就在这边做差不多，做20多年了，20多年。
Mr. Wen is the adoptive father of the current caretaker Lim Qeok Qi.
也很好，他老实人呢，不会跟人家吵架的。他以前来到新加坡是没有人了，他没有亲戚在这边。不过他不知道认识到那个一级国呀那个老板，他老板看他没有做工，他就拿100块给他了，这样他就推他进来做，这样一直做下去了。
When World War II ended in 1948, all Japanese in Singapore were repatriated by the British government, and thus the cemetery fell into disuse. Despite the situation, Mr. Wan still unconditionally continued his duties as the tomb keeper. Take a tour around the cemetery and you might notice a tomb that stands out from the rest.
他没死之前他就交代了，他要埋在这边，还是要管理的。
Mr. Wan is only one of the 2 non-Japanese to be ever buried here. The other belongs to Mr. Wan's older brother, who was also a tomb keeper. Today, Lim Qeok Qi follows in his father's footsteps. Although not a blood relation, Mr. Lim shares the same qualities of his late father, being extremely steadfast and faithful to his duty.
我这里出生在这里70多年了，扫地人来招呼人这样，他要什么我们拿给他。
However, being a tomb keeper wasn't always Mr. Lim's intended vocation. He had other plans for his future.
脚车做脚车，那个是差不多50多年前了。
Mr. Lim returned to the cemetery when his sick father entrusted his duties to him. As the eldest among his siblings, Mr. Lim felt obliged to effectuate his father's dying wish. Over time, he started to appreciate this job more and grew attached to it.
我的工作还蛮好，没有人管，我自己一个人在这里扫地有朋友来就讲点话这样。两夫妇都在帮忙做工他也好像我在外面晒太阳晒太久，他冲茶买点心回来吃这样，吃了就是在这边里面，很爽以前很爽在刚搬来的嘛，想很好的，对了，地方住这么大，那个屋凉爽这样。
Mr. Lim and his family live in a house beside the cemetery. To us, it may seem a little odd, but to them, this is their home.
什么有人见鬼我们也没有见到。这以前呢，他好像什么，有一个吉嫂，他说早上起来要经过我们这边过出去嘛，他说有见到东西，我说你有见到，我都没有见到，怪怪的事都有了。这边烧死人，这边对面那个养牛的印度人，他说他在家看过来，有一盏什么绿灯他说鬼灯他有看到，他问我，我说我没有看到。
An ordinance was gazetted by the Singapore government preventing 42 cemeteries in Singapore from further expansion. The Japanese cemetery park no longer accepts new burials since then, but Mr. Lim still ensures that the existing tombs are all well preserved and the place is hospitable to visitors.
有工作最好了，他要退休了没有工作的要怎么样？老板没有叫退休，我静静来做，不是我自愿要退休了。
Mr. Lim has yet to voice his desire for his children to take over his role as the caretaker.
那还不知道，假如我要他做，他不知道他要不要做。现在等到时间到了才说。就我们这边这个坟墓由我们自己人做到做到我现在了，差不多有80多年了，70多年、80多年。
Just as he and those before him did, Mr. Lim sincerely hopes that his passion to safeguard the cemetery will be passed down to his descendants.
他有做就一直站在这边看会搞到几十的，4代、5代、6代，一直传下去，看会不会啦？不知道。
So what kind of future lies ahead for the Japanese cemetery park?
Cemetery Park is under the lease for the 30 years. You see, so 2019, this lease contract will be expired. The cemetery park is a very important place for Japanese as well as the Singaporean. This is actually, in the history of the Japanese community here, how we can maintain the peace and harmony with the two countries. So we try to keep it as long as possible.
Today, the Japanese cemetery park is open to the public and is frequented mostly by Japanese tourists. Its serene environment attracts many locals too, some for inspiration, some simply for a peace of mind. As time passes, the memories will fade, and their footprints left behind on the earth will inevitably be washed away by the waters of a new age. But be it a decade or a century, the timeless exemplary dedication and hard work of these simple caretakers may well be the perennial virtues that will remain for generations to come.